Good morning, folks. So Tuesday morning as it will be for you. I hope you've all been enjoying yourselves. I wonder if anyone can name the composer. Well, there you go. So anyway, I've been really encouraged with the amount of you who keep on uploading work. From today's lesson and tomorrow's as well, I'm going to give you one question that I'm not actually going to go through in this lesson that I'd like you to upload, and I'll try and give you some feedback on that, both online, but also we will go through it on the next lesson on video as well. And before we get on with that, we're going to go to everyone's favourite free maths website, Maths Genie, today for our questions. But before we do that, I've got a little warm up for you. Okay, so here's the rules for our starter today. We've got to fill the empty squares with numbers that will make the across and down calculations produce the result shown in the grey squares. Each number must appear once. The calculation should be performed from left to right and top to bottom rather than in strict mathematical order. So we're going to do the easier one here. I'm going to show you the harder one as well, but we'll go through that one tomorrow. So 4 and 3 have been placed already for us. And the reason that I'm doing this is it's when you've got a tricky question in your GCSE, you will know the maths, but it's about selecting what to do and what little things you can do to try to work things out. So looking around here, the thing I see instantly is that we've got multiplying up to 72. And I know, and we all know, that 8 times 9 is 72. So, and cut to me because I made a right mess of that. So I spared you the messy horrors of it, and I'd just like you to have a little go at it, and we will revisit that one tomorrow rather than the harder one, because it turned out to make me think enough. It wasn't that difficult, but I just went off in the wrong direction. Okay. Well, here's our first question. If you haven't been able to print off a worksheet, then make a quick sketch of it and have a think about what's going on. But don't worry too much if you're stuck, because we're going to do a couple of questions quite similar to this before I ask you to do one on your own and upload it to me. Given how that starter went, wish me luck, folks. But this looks nastier than it is, but a lot of people tend to give up on these, and I really do beseech you not to. So what it's saying is we know that OA is A, OB is that. P is on AB such that AP to PB is 1 to 3. So if I make a little picture of that, A to B is a straight line, and 1 to 3 means we're going to have 4 parts altogether, doesn't it? Because P must be there if we've got 1 to 3 going to B. So 1 to 3, I'm going to make a little sketch on that of 1/4 being along there. P must be there at 1/4 distance. Now we need to go from O to P, which is a bit nasty. The thing is, we can talk about going from A to P or B to P because it's going to be a quarter of the way from A to B or 3/4 of the way from B to A. And I can get, because we're going from O to P, I think if we go to, or we could go to A, or we could, if we go to A and then say, sorry, if I say A to P is going to be 1/4 of A to B, then all I need to do is talk about what it is to get from A to B first of all. So from A to B, is going to be against the arrow there, so that is minus A and then plus B, so which we could also call B minus A, because I could go along there B and then the opposite of that down and get to there that way. So AB is B minus A. AP is going to be 1/4 of that. So I could write that like that. Now I want to get not from A to P, but from O to P. And this is where you do something quite strange. You just do what seems like an unnecessary move. And we can say that O to P, I don't know how to get from O to P, but I know how to get from O to A. So I could go to A and then go from A to P. So going to A is A, and going from A to P is 1/4 of, sorry, so we're going to be adding 1/4 of B minus A. Now I've got a bracket to expand there, so if I expand the bracket, I can say that O to P is going to be A plus 1/4 of B minus 1/4 of A. Now you can write it as B over 4 and A over 4, but actually it's easier if we write it with the fraction in front of it. And I'll show you why in a moment. If we now simplify what we've got, we can say that OP is going to be, well, if you take 1/4 of something away from a whole of it, you get 3/4, don't you? Is going to be 3/4 of A plus 1/4 of B. And at this point, I look at what the question was asking me. We want to know what the multiple of it would be like if we put it into brackets. So I'm going to go back into brackets. I'm going to factorize, but in a way that we won't normally. We normally take out a whole number that goes into both. But 1/4 goes into both of those and is going to give us 3 times that amount, isn't it? So I could factorize by saying the factor that they've both got is 1/4. If I times 3 by 1/4, I get 3/4. If I times 1 by 1/4, I get 1/4. So I got to that situation, and that must be my answer. That is my K. So K equals 1/4 or 0.25. Right, question 2 here is very, very similar. So copy it down, pause the video and give this a good go before you watch me go through it. First thing then is to position our P on the line AB. And from 3 to 2, that means we're getting into fifths now, doesn't it? So if I go nearly halfway and then I do that, we've now got fifths. So P is going to be about there, 3/5 of the way from A to B. And they're still looking to get from this point over to there. So I can say that going from A to B is 2A, no it's not, it's 3B take 2A, because we're going against that arrow but with that arrow, so we're going minus 2A plus 3B. And then we can say that AP is going to be 3/5 of what we need to do to get a B. So if I was to do, instead of minus 2A, if I was to do 3/5 of that, whatever that is, that would get me to about there. And then if I was to do 3/5 of that length, that would go parallel to what's at the bottom there. So what we're saying is that is minus minus 3 times 3/5 of 2A, and this is plus 3, but we don't need to work all of that out. It's just to say that's what we're trying to do. So we've got that. I'm not going to expand it for now. I could do, but I'm not going to right now. I'm then going to think about how I get from O to P, and I'm going to do it by the same trick as last time. I'm going to go to, so O to P, I'm going to say is going to be a combination. I've got to go to A before I can get to P, and then I'll do AP. And there's 4 marks for this question. So for working out what AP is, you're gonna have a mark. For stating this, you're gonna have a mark. So you might think, oh, I can't do the other bits, but if you can just say that, you will get marks. So O to A is 2A, and then A to P is that. So you'll have a 3rd mark for doing that, and the 4th mark is for simplifying it and then working out what our K is. So if we before we can simplify, we need to expand the bracket. So that's going to give me 3 3s are 9, so 9/5 of B, and 3 times 2 is 6, so minus 6/5 of A. And at this point I'm quite encouraged because I've got a 9 with my B there and I've got a 9 there. Now we just need to simplify, and then we can say that OP is going to be, well, 2 takes 6/5. Well, 2 is 10/5, isn't it? So 10 takes 6 is 4. So I've got 4/5 of A plus 9/5 of B. And that's going to be very similar. They're both being divided by 5, but apart from that, you've got what's in your bracket. So we need to take that 5th outside the bracket. So 1/5 of 4A plus 9B is going to give us our OP. So our final answer is K equals a 5th. And make sure you write that down at the end, because a really mean marker might not, might dock you one, even though you've done all the maths. Right. The next question is question 3, but I'm not going to do that now. I'd like you to have a go at question 3, which looks like this, very similar, and upload your solution to that to me. And we're just going to finish off now with question 4, which is a little bit different looking. I'm just going to come out there a tiny bit so we can see the whole thing. So take your time, pause the video, write it down. Get as far as you can. Just do some stuff of shifting around the grid. So the thing to do is to go through it and fill in as much stuff as you can, and get drawing on the picture. So we know that M is the midpoint of BC. So that distance there and that distance there are the same. It also says that X is the point on AB such that AB to BX is 3 to 2. So they're saying if we were going to go along here, if I split this into 3 parts, 2 of those would get me to X, just about. And what they're saying is we need to prove that if I've done that, E to M to X, let's just shift that X along there, are on a straight line. So in order to do that, we need to be able to say what that means is that E to M is going to be, there will be something that we can multiply, call it K, because they did that before, didn't they? E to X by, there'll be a fraction of that will get us to there. And we could also say, what other one? From M to X multiplied by a different number, so maybe call that N, would be the same as E to M, but also, so we just need to prove that any 2 of those 3 things are multiples of each other. And in order to do that, we need to just start having a go at seeing how can we define any of those vectors. Right. I'm going to start by going from E to M, because I don't think that should be too difficult. I'll do that with a green pen. It's a little bit nothing, but what I can do from E, that is going to be B, isn't it? So 2B, and then I can go down there, can't I? Which is going to be the opposite of half an A. So I could say that EM equals 2B minus a half of A. That's got me started. Now, I want to do M to X, but it's difficult to know how to. I think what I need to be able to do, because I know about A to X from here, I'm going to start off by defining A to X. So I know that AB is going to be minus A plus B. So that's minus A plus B is the same as B minus A. And then we've got 5 parts to get from there to there, haven't we? And these parts are all thirds of A to B. So if we had 5 thirds of those bits from A to B, we would get there. So AX is 5 thirds of A to B. So therefore AX is 5 thirds of B take A. And now we know A to X. To do M to X, we do the same trick as before. Is going to be M to A plus A to X, which is a bit strange, I must admit. So now, in order to get from there to there, we need to do a half movement that way, which is plus, so that our MA I'm making up out of A over 2, and then I'm going to go down there, take B, and then I'm going to go up there again, plus A. So I'm doing that, and then that, and then that. So that gives me 3/2 or 1.5 A, and a whole negative B. So we know how to get from M to A, and we know how to get from A to X. So now we know that MX is going to be MA, which is this bit here, 1.5 A take B, plus the A to X, which is over here, the 5 thirds B minus A. 5 thirds B take A. And we're hoping that when we clean this up, there'll be a clear multiplier that we could do to this to get EM, and then they must be parallel, and as M is the same point, they must be on the straight line, so we would have proved it. So 3 over 2A minus B plus 5 thirds B take 5 thirds of A. So if I've got 5 thirds of something and I take a whole is 3 thirds. So I hope you agree with me that 5 take 3 is 2. So that's going to give us 2 thirds B. And let's sort out the A's separately. So I'm just going to ignore the A and just do 3 over 2 take 5 thirds. So if we're going to do that, we need to turn it into a common denominator of 6. If I times that by 3, so times that by 3 gets me 9, times this by 2, so times this by 2 gets me 10. 9 take 10 is negative 1, so it's minus 1/6. So we've got 2/3 b, and we are taking 1/6 of a, which is quite good because we've got positive b and we've got a negative a there, so we want that. Now what we need to do is prove that we could times, if we times this by 3, so 2/3 of b minus 1/6 of a multiplied by 3 equals 2b minus a half a. So then we can say, therefore 3 times mx equals em, showing they are parallel, and since they share a point, which was M, they must be on the same line. So it's a bit of a strange one, that, but they do like these sorts of things, and they get left blank a lot. There's 5 marks for it. It is worth having a go at. But do let me know how you get on with that, and please do send me in upload your versions of question 3. I hope that helps. If you've got it in a bit of a tiz over it, don't worry, we've got tomorrow's lessons, and although things get a little trickier, the more you see of this sort of thing, the more it will start to make sense. See you tomorrow.